Hey y'all, this is Dina. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so I am back today and I'm going to put together, try to start to finish a traveler's notebook, and I've already got things cut, but I did have some requests for this even though I have videos posted on my yesterday's video links. So I said, okay, I'll go ahead and I will make another one since I'm making a bunch of them anyway. So anyway, I decided to go ahead and I would go ahead and do this so that way then the ones that were asking for me to re-record a video on the B6 Traveler's Notebook and how I put it together, I'll go ahead and do it today. Okay, so first, before we get going, the paper that I'm going to use is this paper pack, Homemade with Love. I thought it was kind of neat because it's vintage-like, and it is by Carta Bella. And I thought it was kind of cute. I got it for $9.99 at Hobby Lobby, and they're having their paper stuff, their paper and their pads and all 50% off right now. So I picked this one up and decided I would make one out of this. And the paper is really thick on this. It's really good, and you can tell it's just very vintagey, very worn looking. I thought it was kind of neat. So this is going to be one of the traveler's notebooks that we're going to make. So I'm getting my laminator all warmed up, and so let me just go ahead and get started on the scoring. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Okay, so for your cover, you will need a piece of paper that measures 11.5 by 4.5, and I've already pre-cut that, and I've already rounded the corners, and I used the 1/2-inch corner rounder on my chomper. Okay, and so I'm going to score this. So let me grab my scoring tool. We're going to score this at 5 1/8. I got 5 1/8. And then I'm going to score at 5 5/8 and 6 1/8. That's all the scoring that you need, as you can see this right there. Y'all, look at this paper. It's got a Southern Peach Cobbler recipe written on there. Isn't that so cute? I think it's so cute. And this is the other side. Okay, so I've got my laminator ready. So before we go any further, let's just get this in my laminating sleeve. And we're gonna get this laminated. Okay, so put your page in there as far as you can in your laminating sheet. And I am using, hold on, let me get it. I'm using the Scotch Thermal laminating pouches. I think I got them at either Hobby Lobby or just one of the craft stores. No, I take that back. I got it from Target. Okay, so I'm gonna get this in there, and it fits perfectly with just enough overhang. So make sure you have it all the way up to the edge as far as it will go. And then we're gonna pop this in the laminator and get this thing laminated. So I'm using my Scotch laminator. I really do like this laminator. I have the green one. It's the one that's the anti-jam. They have two different kinds, and this one's the one that costed a little bit more. You probably heard me say that in the past, but I really think it was kind of worth it to pay a little more. So it's about halfway through on the laminating. And once that comes out, we are going to trim it up. I really do like this one. I don't know, once I'm done with it, I might have to buy some more of this while it's on sale and make one more. Because I'm trying to find different paper. I'm trying to use my paper that I have, but I just had to stop by and because I knew they were in a sale, and I'm like, oh, this is one that I had not had. Okay, so I've got it laminated, and I'm going to go ahead and trim it. Now, where the edge of my paper is, you don't want to trim all the way up to that. You want to, I always line mine up, and as you see, there's the line right there where it's going to cut. So I always go over to the edge of the white. So that gives it, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so. And I'm just going to trim it up. Make sure you got it straight. And trim it up on both sides. You're not even going to have to trim on the ends because it's just perfectly fits in there. And, okay, Okay, so there we go. Now, it's really hard to use your corner tromper on these corners, and I had already rounded them. So all I do is I just snip off the corners. That's what I do. Some people try to make them really round, and I just haven't mastered that, so I just snip off the corners. Now at this point you can roll this back through your laminator if you wish. You do not have to. It looks pretty good, so we're going to keep going. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold on my first and third score line. There we go. Oh, it's so cute. Okay, the front looks like it's a little bit tilted up. I am going to roll it back through my laminator one more time because that kind of flattens it out. Y'all, I'm in Texas, as you know, if you've watched my videos, and yesterday we had 108 degrees. Today, they're saying it's going to be the same. Tomorrow's 110. We are not looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of staying in the house. Staying in where it's cool. Okay, it's about halfway out. Sometimes if you want to run it back through, that just kind of flattens it out a little better. And, you know, it's just, I just kind of, if it's kind of curling up a little bit from running through the laminator, it's okay just to go ahead and just push it back through. Kind of flattens it out a little better. Okay, almost done, y'all. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got my little fold lines. Isn't that already cute? Look, you've got the peach cobbler recipe right there on the front. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, I have my little hole puncher here, and this one has a guide, and if you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me use this. But if you have one with a guide, you can just kind of line it up, and as you see, it's got the little arrow. So you can kind of see and be able to judge where you're going to punch your hole. So you're going to punch 3 holes. You can make these with 4 if you want. And if you have some little paper right there that's kind of being stubborn, take your scissors and just trim it off. Okay. Now let's do the other side quickly. Okay, so I've got my holes. They're ready to roll. Something about that middle one. Didn't want to punch today. Okay, so while I've got this, I'm going to get my big crocodile. And I'm going to cut my center hole. You want to do it kind of eyeball it about the center and do it on the center line in there. And I use the smaller, it's the 1/8 punch on here. And that works perfectly. You can kind of push it down. You can kind of see where to punch. There you go. Looks pretty good. Okay, so now we're gonna quickly put our elastic. This is 2 millimeter. I'm gonna take my elastic. I'm gonna start in the center hole at the top. I guess it doesn't matter, top or bottom, whichever. I'm gonna start at the top here. That's always a habit for me just to do that. And I'm gonna go back through the hole. Some people take their crocodile and they put little eyelets or whatever those things called. You know, I've tried to do that and I just haven't mastered getting them nice and flat, so I don't even bother. Yeah, I sure tried, but I broke a bunch of those little things. But that's okay. These are laminated and they are very sturdy, so I'm not too worried. Okay, so you're gonna go in the middle, out the back, back in, all the way down, into the center hole. You're gonna go back through the top hole. Now, take it and kind of pull it over, and that way you can poke this through. And then go back up through the last hole, down to the bottom, And then we're gonna go up through this last little hole, pulling the one to the side so we can poke this back through. If you have a hard time, you can trim this, because as you see, mine kind of raveled a little bit, but I will trim it off in the end. It's all good. And there we go. So we've got our elastic ran through there. If you need to pull it up and make it a little bit more tighter, just now's the time to do that. Don't want to make it too tight because you don't want your book cover to bow. And there we go. I'm gonna tie it off. Okay. And I always tie it in like two really good knots, and then it doesn't come off. There you go. Okay, we've got our elastic, so we'll hold our notebooks in. And now we need to put the elastic that will go around. So I'm just gonna cut myself off a piece, probably too long, but you can kind of measure it around your book if you want, just to see. And I know this is gonna be too long, but it's okay. I am just going to trim it when we're done. Okay, so I take it and kind of fold it in half, and then I just push it through the hole the best you can. If you can't get it through, use something pokey to get it through. I'll try it once or twice if I can't get it. This little pokey thing works pretty good, y'all. Okay. If you don't want to do it this way, you can always feed it through and then pull it back out. And I try to do it this way first. Okay, so I've got it. Take it and kind of put it around. You want to kind of measure. You don't want it too tight, but you want it just enough. And I think that that's pretty good. So you're going to take it and tie. I tie 2 knots. Tie it really good, or even 3. Make them real tight, because you don't want it to come off. You can do 2, you can do 3. You don't want it to be too bulky, but I usually try to do 3. Okay, so now we've already got our cover made. I really do love the vintage look of that, and I love that it's a recipe. Okay, we've got our cover. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to make our pocket folder. Okay, and I've already pre-cut this paper, and this paper measures 10.5, and I have it by 11. And so what you're gonna do is you're going to take your scoreboard and you're going to score it. And this is the 10 1/4. It's 10 1/4 by 11. I hope I didn't just tell you wrong. But you're gonna score it at 5 1/8. That's kind of the center. Then we're gonna flip it, and I score mine at 7. There's many ways to make the folders. I kind of like making it this way. So just want to make sure that I've got this good and straight and lined up. So let me make sure there. There we go. Okay, so I've got that. I'm gonna do my other fold to make my folder. Love this vintage look. Love, love, love. Okay, so now I've got it like this. So now I'm gonna take my paper trimmer, and I'm just going to trim off just a smidge, like starting at this score line and go over just a little bit. And how I do that is I line up where my score line is onto where the little place where I'm gonna cut, and I put it over on like the 3rd little line. That's what I tried to make that where I trim, and I just trim it off. Okay. And then when you do like this, you got yourself a folder. Now I use my tear and tape or my red tape, and I tape down the sides. Some people make them where the folders have rounded corners in here. I kind of just like it kind of squared. You can at this time round them if you wish. see here, one more. The paper is so thick, y'all. It's wonderful. When you're making these, you really want to have some good thick paper. And it feels like it's got like a texture on it. Okay. Pick it up and I'm going to fold on the line. I fold it. And then I'm going to fold it. And I'm going to score this down. Flatten it down. And there you go. Got our folder. Isn't that cute? Now at this time, if you wish, you can go ahead and you could use your corner rounder and round the corners. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I got my corners all ready. Now I like to laminate this because you're going to use this and it's going to be pulled in and out. I don't laminate my folders or the little folders that go with the paper, but I do laminate this. So let me get this laminated. Okay, so I have my pocket folder laminated. Now I need to slit along the edge of my pocket to open them up without going too thick or too deep, because you don't want it to come out the other side. So I'm just going to use a ruler, my ruler, and my little X-Acto knife, and I'm going to carefully trim this out. I turn it like this so I can see where I'm going. So kind of give it a little bit of pressure, but not too much. Go to the end of your folder and then turn it. And then line it up and turn it. And as you see, there we go. We got our pocket. Now I'm going to do this other side. And then fold it and our pocket will be complete. Or her pocket folder will be complete. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. I'm going to stop up there at the top. Line it up along the edge. And voila. Don't go all the way to the very, very edge. Leave a little bit. And there you go, y'all. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to fold this in half. Use my scoring tool or my bone folder and kind of press it down. Now, again, we got to do something about these little corners. So let me grab my scissors and I'm just going to trim them off. You can take the time to round it if you want. Okay, so I've got my folder. So now we have the first thing to go in our notebook. And I don't know, for some reason, I always put my pocket folder in the back for some crazy reason. So there we go, we've got the first one. Okay, so now the next thing we're gonna do is make 3 more folders, but they're not pocket folders, okay? So I've already pre-cut the paper and I've got these ready to go be for the folders, covers. Look at this, y'all. It's got all the direction, all the 1/8 of a cup equals 2 tablespoons, blah, blah, blah. Isn't it neat? I love this. And look, it's like little KitchenAid mixers and this one is pies. I love it so much. Anyway, this retro is just darling. Okay, so I'm gonna quit rambling and let's get on with this. So I'm gonna take mine. You can score this if you want, but I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna line it up and I'm just gonna fold it, okay? And I'm gonna do the corner rounder, 1/2 inch. I always use 1/2 inch on each one. There we go, there's one. I'm gonna put the pie on top because I think that it's awfully cute. And I'm going to do this one. And we've got one more. Put a few mixtures on the outside. Fold it in half. Press it down. Okay. So now we've got the covers for our folders ready. Okay, so last night I told you guys, if you watched my last video, I use these Walmart composition books for the paper, and it gives you the lined paper. It's a perfect 5x7. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper and you're going to find the center, and it's got thread under there, and you're just going to take it and you just take your X-Acto knife or scissors, and you're just going to start taking the cover off, and that's what I did. So I've already done this in advance, and I've got some right here ready to go. So I'm just going to split it up between my 3 notebooks, and then I will sew them together. So anyway, it's gonna fit perfectly. Look, y'all, it's gonna fit perfectly in there. This one's gonna fit perfectly as well. Put that one in there, and then we'll do this one. Okay, so I'm gonna get ready to go over and sew this up, and let me bring you. So I'm on the sewing machine, and I am going to show you how I sew one of these. I've got the paper inside. You find your center. Make sure it's lined up on your inside crease. Make sure everything is straight. And I have these Clover Wonder clips that I use. And I'm just going to use it at the tops just to kind of hold my paper in place. Make sure you got your paper in where it was sewed before, down in the crease of where you scored it. And you're just going to line up your needle directly on where it was already sewed before, and just sew it straight down. When I first started making these notebooks, I would just put the cover over the paper and not adhere it down, and I figured out, I should sew it, and I never really thought about sewing paper, but you know, I tried it one day and it was so easy. So I started sewing these, and that's it, y'all. How easy that. See, now your paper is adhered inside. Okay, so let me show you how to finish putting this together. Okay. So I've got all 3 of my notebooks now sewed, and I'm just going to trim some of the strings off. I usually have some at the top, and just make sure they're not being all shabby on me. And I think that one looks pretty good. So now we've got our 3 folders. They're all sewed, nothing falls out. And I'm just going to put them in my notebook. Let's see which one I want to put first. I don't know. They're all cute, so I guess it's not going to matter. I think I'll put the pie by the folder. And then I will just go ahead and put this one. As you see here, you can see where I sewed it. So it kind of covered up where I already had some little, where I'd pulled the string out from before. Okay, so I've got my 3 notebooks. And that looks good. Look at y'all. There's a whole book. And we made this in no time at all. Now, these came with, these little vintage looking cards came with the collection, and I'm going to add these in. But I normally would laminate these, but since you can write on these, I'm not going to laminate them. I want them to be able to be used. So I'm just going to add these in, and I'm going to put these in the pocket folder. That way then whoever purchases this will be able to utilize these. I just think they're so cute. So I'm just going to put them in the pocket folder. So we've got that in there. Now we also, I like to put the adhesive pockets. You can also put some laminating stuff underneath and have it where you can slit it, where you have a pocket that opens up on this particular one. But I haven't been doing that, and since I'm putting these in a craft fair, you know, I want to think about how much time I'm spending and so forth, and how much money I'm putting in it, because you want to make a good profit on these. So I'm just using these little Target dollar spot pockets, and I'm just going to put one in the front and one in the back. I've got one more. Now's a good time to get these because They come out. You can't always find them. I know I searched forever. My husband thought I was crazy one day when I found them. And yeah, I kind of squealed and I bought like 15 packs. Okay, so now I've got pockets on the front. I've got pockets on the back. Now, you can go even a little farther if you want. And there's a sticker sheet in here. So if you wanted to utilize the sticker sheet and take some things out and just put here, there'd be some cute little things to do. This one right here would actually be cute to put on a piece of paper on cardstock and put it down in the sleeve because it has the measurements, and I think I'll do that. So let me see what kind of scrap I've got over here that I can use. There's some yellow. Yellow would look really good. And I'm just gonna put this on here because someone could use this. It's so cute. I don't know about y'all, but I always need things like that. And then I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna trim it off. Now at this point of the Traveler's Notebook process, you can just embellish these any way you want. If you're making it for yourself or if you're making it to sell, you know, any way you want. There we go. You can do that at this time. So I'm going to put this in here because I think that that's a great addition to that. You could laminate that if you want. Let me see what else we got over here. If you want to utilize some of these other ones, here's the cute little pie. I think the cute little pie is cute. So I'm not going to overdo because, you know, I want to sell these, and whoever purchases it might not want it overdone. There's this cute little sticker right here, Mix It Up, and I think that I'll use that one on this one since it's the mixer page. I like to just put them down here at the corner. So that way then you still got plenty of space. I love how these look so old. And then I've got one more, so I'm gonna try to find one more here. Oh yeah, look at this one. Love being in my kitchen. Cute little chef recipes. How about this? Love being in my kitchen. How about that? I like it. You can always cut some of these stickers up and also add it in the pocket folders. But yeah, what do y'all think? We have put together a whole Traveler's Notebook in one video. Now, remember, you can embellish these, add bling on the front. Some people put tassels. You can add more cut-aparts. I probably will add the paper clips in here as well. They'll come with paper clips. They'll come with some more stickers. And yeah, they will come with some extra little goodies in each one. And they will also have a pin loop, which I'll make all my pin loops for all these all at one time. But yeah, and then I've got my pocket folder and more pocket back here on the back for me to stick stickers in. So there you go, y'all. From start to finish, how you make a Traveler's Notebook. Pretty much a basic Traveler's Notebook, but super cute. Super, super cute, functional, and durable. That's what's really important. You want to make sure you're making a good product for the buyer. So anyway, hope you guys like this, and I will add all the measurements for everything in the description box below. And yeah, until my next video, I'll see y'all later. Bye.